What's up, guys? Anton Kraly here from dropshiplifestyle.com. Wanted to record an episode today about something that is certainly top of mind, and that is how to get the work done when life seems to get in the way and make it seem almost impossible. Now, at the time I'm recording this, it is just normally, on a normal year, the busiest time. There's a few reasons. One of them is we're obviously going into Q4, so not only making sure everything is perfect with fourth quarter promotions, but also working with different suppliers and vendors, trying to negotiate deals, trying to make sure it's not just as much revenue as possible, but as much profit as possible. In addition to that, we have our Q4 team meeting coming up, which is where we review pretty much everything that's happened this year and start to plan for 2022. In addition to that, there's just a bunch of big projects in general that I'm super excited about, but they require a lot of mental energy. And all of this on its own, right, wouldn't be a big deal. I'm used to it. I like it. I really do love it. That's why I do it. But on top of this all, I have a 1-month-old baby girl downstairs right now. So you add this busy time of the year with that, and I'll tell you, for me, it's definitely affecting mental output. I'll put it that way. Now, I totally understand a lot of people listening to this probably don't have a 1-month-old child in their home with them. If you do, that would be weird, but let me know. But there's a lot of other things that would lead to the same type of mental fatigue, right? Maybe you are in the middle of a move or planning a move. Maybe you have a big project going on at work and you're trying to build something special in your spare time. When you have these things that do require mental energy, it makes it much, much more difficult to actually do the work and get things done. So in this episode, I just want to share 3 tips that have helped me, not to perfection by any means, but that I think have put me in a better position than I would be. And this is going back to when I had my son 3.5 years ago. For the first few months there, I couldn't even function. So 3 things that helped me this time and that I think might be able to help you as well. The first tip is to plan in advance. And before you just fast forward real quick and think, yeah, that's surface level stuff, I'll explain this, how it's helped me and how it could help you. So whenever there's something coming up in your life, again, maybe it's a promotion if you're trying to build a side hustle and you have a full-time thing. Maybe it's a big project at work. Maybe it's a move. Maybe it's a baby, whatever, something big coming up. Regardless of that, my advice is to always have at least a loose outline of what the year looks like for your business or your goals. Now, what I did when we knew we were going to have a baby in August is I tried to take as many things as possible that were on my calendar for the year, and I tried to take the more challenging things and move them up. The things that required more mental energy from my part, my contribution to the company, is I tried to move that up so I can get it done before this brain fog kicked in. Now, what I do regret is not moving enough of them. Like, looking back now, I could have done literally the first half of the year focusing on the harder things or the more mentally challenging things. And I could have just pushed all the, what I'm not going to call fluff work, but the things that you can kind of just get done while, watching a YouTube video on another screen. Those are the type of things I should have been focusing on now exclusively. So my advice for you is not just to plan your 12 months ahead, even if it's a loose outline, but once you anticipate or foresee something big coming up, move the mentally challenging things up and get them done before whatever big life event you have coming up actually happens. Tip number 2 is what I'm going to refer to as cut it. So whenever we have task lists, right, the things that we have to get done, and we just look at them, whether it's on a notes app, on a pen and paper, whatever, it causes stress, at least for me, because you see this list that grows and grows and grows. And when you have one of these big life events coming up, it adds more stress, and it honestly makes it seem like I'm not going to do anything because there's just too much. So my advice, and this is probably best practice anyway, even if something big isn't happening in your life, but take all of the least important things, the things that will not move the needle, the things that will not help your business long term, and simply cut them off. Now, if you're worried, that was a great idea though, I still want to do it. Okay, make another list somewhere where it's your ever-growing list of ideas that when you eventually have free time, you can circle back to and choose what you want to get done. But one thing that I've struggled with that I would hope that you don't, if you listen to this, is have this long-running list and allowing just that list to cause the stress that makes you not do the work. So remove the least important things and try to do it sooner rather than later, because what might happen, this could be even worse, is if you start putting a little time into this task and a little time into that task, only to end up being forced to cut them in the future eventually because the time simply is not there. And again, you can always circle back when your time situation changes. Tip number 3 might be the most obvious, but this one is simply get help. And this definitely applies to business, whether you're outsourcing or hiring or using automations to take a lot of the load off of your shoulders so that you have more free time. But this also really applies to personal life as well. And I understand everybody's in a different financial situation, so some people can afford different luxuries that others can't. But if you can afford to get help when life gets busy, this is a complete game changer. So for example, the baby situation, right? This time with our daughter we have now, we hired a night nurse. She comes over every other night. The baby sleeps in the room with her, and my wife and I sleep for 9 hours and wake up feeling great. Okay, that's a complete game changer. And if you're in a situation where you have a baby and you can afford that, my advice is hire a night nurse. Again, it's a game changer. Now, let's say you have a big project at work, right? Let's say that's your big life event, or this new promotion that brings on all this extra responsibility, but you still want to build a side business. Well, get help at home, whether that be house cleaners if you don't have them already, some type of meal prep or meal delivery service so you don't even have to think about what you're going to do for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Even a house manager if necessary, so somebody to make sure everything is getting done. Landscapers, just all these little things that suck time. When you're already stressed and drained for time and you add them on top, it makes that task list you don't even want to open it. So it's not even about at that point cutting things. It's like, I'm not even going to do it. So get help there. If you're moving, right? This is something that I never thought I needed to hire people to help. And I'm handy. And I used to do construction and carpentry when I was in high school and college. So I'll do everything. No, if you can get help and you're moving, obviously hire movers, hire a painter if you need one. You don't need to paint a wall yourself. Even things like a general contractor and somebody that can come over and just help with odd jobs. Again, anybody that can take the work off your shoulders. So that little bit of free mental energy you do have, you can put into the tasks that are actually going to help you reach your goals. So again, I'm not perfect at this at all, but these are some things that have helped me and allowed me to be able to actually get important things done this year and feel good about it, while of course being a very happy and very proud dad for the second time. So that's it for today's episode, guys. As always, I hope you got value. If you did, give it a like. If you're not subscribed to the podcast, go to eCommerce Lifestyle, click the subscribe button, and I will be back on Monday with a new episode of the podcast. See you, everybody.